Hi everyone, Tracy here with Create Your Future. Today I am here to share an amazing success story with you guys and to talk about forgiveness. And I'm really excited that this success story came this week because it's something that's been coming up in a lot of my coaching calls this week. And some of my clients that have been struggling with anger and resentment and just dealing with things that are popping up in the 3D reality. So I intend this is going to be super relevant, super helpful for all of you. Before I dive in, I want to remind you that we're giving away a free course, how to get rid of your blocks and manifest anything that you'd like to manifest in your reality. You can find how to get that free course down below. I'm also available for one-on-one coaching if you would like to get some help on your manifesting journey, whether you want to manifest a relationship or you want to manifest a change in your career, a change in your physical appearance, whatever it is. I'm available for coaching. I also have a self-study course, and it is everything that I used and learned on my journey in becoming a conscious creator. It's sort of like everything that is, kind of in addition to affirming and doing your mental diet. Of course, we have to affirm and choose our thoughts, but there's a lot more to the understanding. And so this course goes through all of that. I also have some affirmation tracks. And specifically, you guys, I am getting so much amazing feedback about the Operant Power affirmations track. And again, these are all the affirmations that I used, because I didn't just get this overnight. I struggled quite a bit. And so these are all the affirmations that I used when I noticed that I intellectually knew that I was the operant power, but I would go out into the world and immediately forget and start reacting and just sort of perpetuating things in my reality that I didn't prefer. So I had to take a very conscious approach to integrating that into my belief system, that I am the operant power, that 3D reality is just a reflection of me and everything is perfectly catered to me, and so on and so forth. So that affirmations track is super, super powerful. You guys check it out if you're interested. And yeah, okay, so let's get into the video for today. So two things. I want to start off with a quote from Neville. And then the success story that I want to share is sort of referring back to what Neville's talking about as well, which is what this video is titled about, which is forgiveness. And when Neville's talking about forgiveness, he's referring to states. So whatever, you're experiencing with someone else, if you are feeling anger or resentment, you can choose to forgive them by recognizing that whatever has shown up in the 3D reality is just a state. It's just a state that they are in. Yes, because of your assumptions, because they're you pushed out, but it's just a state. It's not who they are. It's not permanent. It's not real and true and solid. It's a state, and you can forgive everything and everyone because it's a state. It's not who the person truly is, right? Who we truly are is the same. That doesn't mean that there's different actions and behaviors and things that each of us kind of displays, but nonetheless, it's all just a state. So I'm going to read this quote by Neville. So let's see. True forgiveness is complete forgetfulness. Blake tells us the art of living is forgetting and forgiving. If you don't completely forgive, you cannot forget. For to forgive is to change your attitude towards another, and as you change, you forget what they said or did, thereby no longer keeping them in the state that compels them to do what they did. I urge you to use your own wonderful creative power and deliberately move into the state of your choice. Make it now by occupying the state long enough so that it feels natural. Okay, so exactly what Neville is talking about is what we're going to talk about in the success story, you guys. My client did an amazing job getting rid of a third party and moving from a long-standing friends with benefits situation into the committed relationship of her dreams. So I'm really excited to share this success story with you guys. Remember how we use success stories. It's for inspiration. This is just a snippet, right? As much as she shared, and she kind of did go through a longer timeline than maybe some of the other success stories, but it's still just a snippet of her journey, you guys. And if anything, the message that I want you to take from this is if she can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Right? As Neville says, it's one mind, it's not two. So use all the success stories that you come across as proof that that is also available for you. You can also do it. If anyone else can do it, you can do it as well. All right. So let's go to the success story. So I'm going to read it now. Hi, Traci. Here's my success story that I've been telling you is coming during our last few sessions. It's finally here. Please excuse me. Please feel free to share and read on the channel to help inspire others to persist and forgive. My journey started around 3 years ago with an SP that I met in a very unique and serendipitous way. I knew nothing about law of assumption at the time. I just knew that I had met someone who had changed my life forever. My SP, of course. We were only together for a couple of months, and then he broke things off with me suddenly. I was heartbroken and started learning about law of assumption and everyone is yourself pushed out. I had so much to learn and so much trust to build and so much to practice with not reacting. Working with Traci helped me so much as she was so patient with me on all of our calls, reminding me time and time again about all the things I intellectually knew and believed, but still wasn't being yet. After working with Traci for a few months and listening to her affirmations tracks, practicing my mental diet and really honing my skills of not reacting, I finally started to make some headway with my SP. We were spending more and more time together and doing everything together. Although there was no formal commitment, I was in bliss and no commitment. It was bliss and I was so happy. Although things were going well, I still didn't have the commitment. And in fact, my SP showed up and told me he had met someone out of the blue. Well, the things I had been doing so much. Well, the thing is, I had been doing so much work with Traci and learning how to not react, learning that I am the operant power, and learning that everything is perfectly catered to me, that I didn't react. I didn't react to something that was definitely my creation, because even the way he told me he had met her was part of my fearful thoughts. So I didn't react. And I went immediately inside, affirming that we are so in love, and I am the only woman that he is and ever will be committed to, and that we are so happy in love. Also, part of my mental diet and what I was affirming was that he was me. Traci taught me this, and it really helped to remove any doubt and fears when they came up. There was no room left for any questioning. After 2 weeks, the third party was gone and we were back to spending every day together. I have to tell you that I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel hurt and I didn't feel resentment. How could I? If I knew that these were my exact fears being reflected back to me, how could I then be angry with him? I didn't allow myself to be the victim. I took responsibility for my past thoughts and moved straight into the state of having my desired end. There were wobbly moments for sure, but I did my best and I didn't let anything, including my own doubts, get in the way. I don't think I would have been able to get to this point without Traci's coaching. Her understanding and confidence in the law and simplified ways to apply it, coupled with her never-ending patience with me, made all the difference in the world. And I now have the relationship of my dreams. You guys, I cannot tell you how powerful this story is. And really, I want to go back to what Neville is teaching, because so many of my clients get, they get resentful, they get angry, and they have a hard time letting go of that. And that definitely stands in their way. And maybe it's not super apparent for everyone, or maybe it is, right? So you can go inside and answer that question. But as my client said in the story, it was so specifically like reflected back that it was her fear. How could she forget that and then act as if someone was choosing to do something, right? No. Her SP just had fallen into a state that she put him in due to her expectation, her fears, her worries, her doubts, and focusing on that, right? So, in order to move him and her out of that state, she went immediately to her preferred, her chosen preference, and she forgave everything that was before. She forgave what was playing out in the 3D reality. And this is really what it takes, you guys. This is how you shift your reality in a big way. You shift your reality by remaining in the driver's seat, not falling into the victim mode and having this emotional reaction to something that obviously, could have been very triggering. But it was due to all the work she had done leading up to that point that allowed her to stay in the driver's seat and to see the reflection for what it really was. And she didn't say this in the testimonial that she wrote in, but I know from the conversations that we've had in our one-on-one sessions that she really took responsibility for that. She took straight away the responsibility for that playing out, and she did her best, although she's human and she had some doubts creep in, she did her best to not compare, not judge, not validate the 3D reality that was showing up, to go immediately into her chosen preference, to forgive that state and forget it, right? Again, like Neville was talking about in the quote, you have to forgive and forget. Forgive and forget. For who? For yourself, right? So that you can move on to your desired state. And you don't have to believe it, you guys. You do not have to believe it. This is also something that's been coming up in a lot of my one-on-one sessions. You do not have to believe it. You have to come back and focus again and again. You have to deliberately bring yourself back to choosing to focus again and again, choosing to, assume your preference again and again, regardless of what's showing up in 3D reality. But even if you don't believe it, that's okay. That's okay. Eventually you will. So bringing yourself back to not being a victim, understanding that everything is a reflection of you. Everything is perfectly catered to you. And when you feel resentment, when you feel anger, when you feel hurt, it's a misunderstanding of what is going on. It's a misunderstanding. It's looking at the other person and saying they are separate from me and they're choosing to do something to me that I don't like. So I really want you guys to not feel bad, okay? Not feel bad. You're entitled to feel what you feel. But if you do notice that you have resentment, anger, hurt towards your specific person or towards anyone in your life, a family member, a coworker, a boss, recognize that you have that going on, and then also recognize what you intellectually know. Because if you're watching this video, I know that you know about everyone as you pushed out. I know that you know your thoughts create. I know that you know your 3D reality is a reflection of you. And that is it. That's all that's going on, right? So if you're feeling anger towards someone, you're forgetting that they are you pushed out. They're playing a role that you gave them. You gave them a script, and now they're reciting it back to you. And then you're feeling anger towards the script that you gave them, right? So once you notice that you have anger, resentment, hurt going on, and you then remind yourself that, oh, wait a second, I gave them that script. I do remember having those fears. I remember having those doubts, those insecurities. I remember thinking about those things. And here they are reflecting it back to me, showing me, holding up a mirror for me to see what has been going on inside of me. That's all they're doing, by the way. And how can I really feel anger towards them? How can I feel resentment? And how can I feel hurt? All of that should melt away as you walk through this process. It should melt away into compassion, feeling compassion for the person. That person does not want to hurt you. They do not want to, tell you the things that you don't want to hear. They're playing a role that you gave them, right? So hopefully as you walk through this process, it turns into compassion for them. If that feels like a stretch, go back to the fundamentals. Go back to the fundamentals. Again, the key thing that my client pointed out, she was affirming, he is me. He is me. Right? So that was helpful both in what had shown up, what she was trying to forgive, and also where she was going. It was helpful on both ends because she knew if I focus over here to we're in love, we're in a loving, committed relationship, I'm the only woman that he is and ever will be committed to. If I focus on that, if I feel into that, if I select that with my thoughts, if I choose that through my focus, that has to be what shows up because he is me, right? So it's super helpful in remembering those things. So I hope this was helpful. I intend this was super helpful if this is something that you're dealing with. Again, I understand how things can be. It could have very easily went so much differently for my client, right? She could have reacted. She could have been hurt. She could have a lot of things, but then that would be throwing out everything that she intellectually knows and everything that she had been practicing for months, if not years. So this is really where we're trying to get to, right? We're not trying to get to the place where we need everything out there to be perfect. We're not trying to get to the place where everything out there is always exactly like we're intending, because the truth is the opposite usually, if not always, shows up right before the big shift. But if you need everything out there to be perfect, then you will react. And when you react, you perpetuate the unwanted. So what we're really trying to do is keep your inner world dominantly focused, dominantly committed to your chosen preference. So then you can ride the waves of what's happening out there, because what's happening out there is your past thoughts and beliefs. And I guarantee you had past thoughts and beliefs before you knew about all this, right? And we don't know how long, it takes for things to play out, how long the old reverberations take to come out. So it is very likely that when you're trying to intend for something new, when you're pushing into a new area, that the old reverberations show up. That's how this works. It's a safety switch, right? Talked about that in a couple of videos ago. So again, we're not trying to get to the place where everything is perfect out there, because that is setting you up a little bit for a downfall. We're trying to get to the place where you are solid in knowing you're the operant power, getting you solid in knowing that your job is to focus. Your job is to continue to select. Your job is to know that what's out there is a reflection of your past thoughts and beliefs. And also what's out there is changeable, it's malleable, it's flexible. So that when the unwanted thing shows up, like it did for my client, she didn't despair. She didn't crumble. She didn't think that that was forever and that that was a big obstacle. She knew that's just a result of my past thoughts and beliefs. Okay, not what I want. I'm going to go right over here and I'm going to start right now focusing on what I choose, what I prefer. I'm going to clarify and I'm going to do my best to bring myself back again and again. Nope, this is it. This is what I now believe. This is what I now choose. Right? And if you can do that, then your flexible and malleable and changeable 3D reality will become what you have now focused on. right? This is so important, you guys. So, so, so important. I love the success story, and so many important things come together with this. It's the not reacting, it's the staying in your power, not needing everything to be perfect out there. Again, that's a little bit setting you up for failure. That's not reality, right? Because of our past thoughts. It can be, you can start to see more and more and more of what you want out there, but it's different in seeing it and needing it, right? We don't need everything to be perfect out there, right? Because if you still need everything to be perfect out there, then you're giving your power away. You're giving your power to the external 3D reality. Your job is to stay centered and to stay committed to your chosen preference and to remain in the driver's seat, even when things out there are reflecting past thoughts and beliefs. It's okay. It's okay. It's changeable. It's malleable. It's flexible. If you stay consistent, out there will change. But if you change to what's out there, now you're reacting to something that's already reacting to you. That's how you get caught in cycles. And it seems like it's hard. Seems like it's frustrating. Seems like it doesn't work. Seems like nothing ever changes. It's because you're allowing out there to tell you what to do, think, feel, believe, and you adjust your state to that. I know I used to do that. I did it for way too long. And so you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And once you get the hang of it, once you get the hang of going first and staying committed, then you will have more confidence because you'll start to get evidence. At first, it's just blind faith. And I know that's where coaching comes in, and it's so helpful because you have someone who's been through it to say, no, you're doing it right. Just keep going, keep persisting, keep going with blind faith. And then when you get the evidence, then you'll remember, oh yeah, I was doing that with blind faith and it worked out. Okay, let's do that again. And then you'll be able to do it more and more and more. All right, you guys. Awesome success story. I'm so proud of my client. Thank you guys for watching. Leave me a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.